Hello and welcome to the video. In this video I'm going to set up this radio with this model here. This is the Slowpoke from Hobby King. Now the Slowpoke is a fantastic beginner model and I'll be doing a full review on it soon, but I've had a lot of requests when I did the initial video on this TX6i to do some setup videos with it, so hopefully by the end of this video you'll be able to set it up with a plane. Now I've already done a number of plane setup videos that talk about the process to go through, and those have been done with things like the Taranis, QX7, those kind of radios running OpenTX, and the process is exactly the same, but the menu in this thing is an awful lot easier for those of you that find OpenTX a little bit overwhelming. So we're going to use it with this receiver here. This is the ORX R615X. This is probably one of my favorite little receivers, just works brilliantly, and we're going to pop it into the model. Now there are loads of different orange receivers that Hobby King do, little doobie things like this, but believe it or not it's a little S-Bus receiver, perfect for really small quads. There's loads of different types, but for me I'm going to use one of these guys because I have lots of these kicking about because I've been using the orange receivers for a long time and had a good experience with them. So, but before we bind this thing, before we plug it into the model or do anything else, what I'm going to do, let me zoom in a little bit and we'll start doing the basic setup on here, then we'll bind it to the receiver and then we'll go to the model and we'll do the last couple of bits to dial in the servo, travel, endpoint adjustment and midpoints and things as well. So let me just zoom in and we'll start the setup. So the first thing to do is going to turn it on, obviously, and I think there's about 20 memories in here. By scrolling left and right on the wheel, you'll get all of the telemetry information if you have any of the telemetry sensors set up on a telemetry capable receiver. If you're interested in seeing how that works, leave a comment down below. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a new model. So to get into the main menus, you press and hold the rotating key, and then you go to the very bottom and you pick on model setup, and that will then give you the options to model select, which we'll do, and here's all the different models on the machine. Now I've already set the model up once, but we'll do it again for this. But you can see here we have 20 model memories, and I'm going to choose model 3, press and hold enter, and we are now in model 3. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to change the type. It can be airplane or glider. We can have a helicopter with variable pitch, different swash settings. We can set it up for a multicopter, and all of the things that we're going to do on here are going to be very similar for an airplane or a multi-rotor. So we're going to press and hold the enter key again. Are you sure? We're going to reset everything. Yes, we are. Make sure you've done that before you do anything else, because as soon as you change the model type, it'll reset all of your settings. We can change the model name, so let's change it to Slowpoke. And when it's all set, there's a maximum of 8 characters. Press and hold the enter key again, and there we are. And then the only other thing in here that's worthwhile having a look at, there we have things like the frame rate. This is where you set that. So either DSMX or S-Link. So you've got 11 millisecond or 7 millisecond setting. And we're going to be running DSMX with these orange receivers. So press and hold enter. A little bit further down, this is where you can set up things like flaps, elevon, V-tail, and those things as well. Now we're going to come on to binding the receiver in a minute, but this is also where you have the ability to bind a receiver, but you can also bind it by holding the binding button as you power on the radio as well. But we're not anywhere near doing that yet, so we'll come back to it in a second. I'm going to press cancel, go up one level, and we're going to go to the top. And here is the meat of the model setup. And let's go through this before we bind our little receiver. Servo setup, we're going to come back into this in a minute and go through all of the settings when we've actually got the servos on the model plugged into the receiver. But this is where we can reverse the servo if it's moving in the wrong direction. Elevator, rudder, aileron, whatever it is reversed. You can just change it here by pressing the button. It actually takes you through each of them. Let's put that one back for purposes of this. Press cancel. Endpoint adjustment is where you can change the travel of each individual channel. You can increase it or you can decrease it depending on what you want to do. When you've got it set how you want it, you can click enter. Let me put that back to 100. If you're not sure about how you get to each of the individual pieces, it's difficult sometimes to figure out whether or not you want to be on this side or this side. But all you need to do is you just move the control that it's corresponding to, which is the elevator. And this is the only thing that I find a little frustrating about the radio. Channel 1 is normally the aileron. Channel 2 is normally the elevator. Channel 3 is the throttle, channel 4 is the rudder. It would be good if it kind of said that AETR on the side, but that's how you change it. So with the elevator, the second channel, depending on which bit we want to do, and when we're setting up the plane, this makes a lot more sense. You just move the control to the maximum position and just use the roller to dial in the correction that you want. Do make sure when you're completely happy, press and hold the roller to store the pieces. Subtrim, we're going to do this as well, and again it's AETR. Channel 1 is aileron, channel 2 is elevator, 3 is throttle, 4 is rudder, and this is going to allow us to move the servos to the 90-degree position to make sure that we have equal throws on the model. Dual rate and expo, this is where you can set that up. You can set it to any of the switches that you're interested in. So at the moment this is set to switch 1, which is this little switch here on the corner. Now if I move that switch, you'll see the position change, and we can set all that up. Again, channel 1 is aileron, so if we wanted to have our aileron with a 2-position dual rate and expo, position 0, I can say okay, channel 1, keep it on switch 1, maybe drop the rates to 80%, stick a shed load of exponential on there. And again, if you're not sure about what expo is all about, I have a video that covers it. It makes the stick less sensitive around the middle position and makes the model easier to fly. And now if I move the switch into one of the other positions, I can again click enter to say I want channel 1, which is the aileron, on the same switch. This time we'll keep the rate as 100, but we'll add a load of expo. There we go. And now as I move the switch between those two positions, you can see the amount of rates that we've got, and the exponential is there as well. So I could maybe take off in this lower position, and then when I want to do acrobatics, flick it into this other position. But be careful, I would set up dual rates and expo for each of the 3 positions of the switches. Now by default, the way it works is channel 2 is set up for switch 2, which is this, that's the elevator. And channel 4, which is the rudder, is set up for switch 3, and that's the one here on the corner. And of course channel 3 does not have any dual rates or exponential, because that's the throttle. Next thing we need to do then is we could set up a throttle curve. This is very handy, particularly if you are using multi-rotors or helicopters. I'm just going to keep a linear throttle on this one. We have the throttle cut, which is very handy. So let's make the throttle cut at 0. And let's pick a switch. I personally like this little switch in the corner. It's actually got written by the side, switch 7. So let's make that switch 7. Press and hold the roller to accept that. Let me just show you what that's done. If I'm going to display, if I move the throttle, there it's all moving on the screen. Fantastic. If I flick switch 7 up, you see the throttle goes to 0. And I can't move it. Switch 7 in that position turns it on. Unfortunately, you can't decide which of the positions of switch 7 is actually the disabling thing, but you just have to remember that when you plug the model in, pop the switch into that position for safety, and then when you're ready, pop it out of that position, and you're going to be ready to fly. So let's go back up. There's also in here the ability to set the timer. I'd always set one. There's 2 timers here, engine timer and multi-timer. Let's set the engine timer, so we'll say the timer is on, have it set to down, up, so it's going to count down, get to 0 and then count up as well. It's going to be activated when the throttle goes above 10%, so it's going to happen automatically, which is great because a friend of mine always forgets to turn his timer on. And then we're not going to reset it. What we're actually going to do is we're going to change the timer amount, so let's just set it for 8 minutes 10 seconds, just as an arbitrary number, and you want to make sure that that timer is set so you don't over discharge your batteries. You can also set up your auxiliary channels here, what channels 5 and 6 are going to be, which switch they're connected to, Not bothered about this, I only need the 4 channels for this piece. And now we are ready to do the binding. So to bind the receivers, you'll notice that one of the things says bat bind. Now you should have a bind plug in the kit that you get with the receiver. It's going to look something like that. It's just like a servo plug with a loop in it. Plug that into the battery bind connector, and what we can do, again, we can either go into the menu and again press and hold the roller button, go down to model setup. We can either go down and select bind at the bottom here, or we can press and hold the binding button while powering it on. That will do both things. So what I'm going to do is, normally we do this on the model by plugging it into the throttle, the ESC. I don't like doing that. I always like to just use something like this, which is a little battery and a battery eliminator circuit on a connector. That means I can safely plug everything in here. So there we are, the receiver's in bind, it's flashing away. I'm just going to press the bind button. It says receiver binding. Okay, bind fail. So what we'll do, that's not a problem, we'll do it the other way around. Turn the radio off. Let's power the receiver up so it's flashing away. Fantastic. Press and hold the bind button and power it up. And we are bound. There we go, that's worked. So now it's bound. If I now unplug the receiver and take out the little bind plug, plug it back in, then we should get a solid orange light. There we go, it's very close, it's probably a little bit unhappy, and we have all of our settings done. Right, next thing to do then is go to the model, and you'll notice on here that it's very nicely laid out with exactly where we need to plug in the elevator, aileron, rudder and throttle channels. So let's go and do that next. So now we've got it all plugged in, the first thing we need to do is make sure that all the channels are moving in the right direction. So put the plane in front of you, make sure that prop is off for safety, and I would always stand behind it, because occasionally if you have the plane at an odd angle it can confuse your brain. Make sure that for each of the positions on the controls it's moving in the right direction. Check the aileron, the elevator and the rudder, and just make sure that they are all moving in the right direction. There's a very good chance they won't be. That's fine, just go into the reverse menu. Again, if it's the aileron that is backwards, change that channel 1 to reverse. If it's the elevator, then change channel 2. If it's the rudder that's the wrong way around, change channel 4. Once it's all moving in the right direction, press and hold the scroll button and that will sort that out. Next thing to do, we'll come back to endpoints in a minute, do the sub trim. Now, hopefully at this point the servos in your model will be very close to 90 degrees, and again all that's covered in the simple plane setup video. But if it's as close as you can get it mechanically and you need to do a little bit of movement here on the radio, then this is the way to do it. Again, channel 1 is aileron, channel 2 is elevator, channel 4 is rudder. So what you need to do is you just need to move this control until each of those servos are as close to 90 degrees as you can get them. I'd always recommend making sure that you spend a bit of time putting the servo on horn physically as close to 90 degrees as you can. This radio doesn't have a huge amount of travel for the sub trim on the individual channels. This is also how you would make sure that on a multi-rotor every single one of the channels rested at exactly 1500 so that you didn't have any drift on your quad. Once we've got that one thing done, last thing to do is the endpoints on the model. And now we need to make sure that the travel on the model isn't too much or too little. Channel 1 is aileron, so as I move the aileron left and right, you can see that's moving. Move the aileron into the maximum position on one side or the other, and then use the roller to change or to increase or decrease the setting so that the amount of deflection on that control surface at 100% rates is the maximum deflection as per the manual. This is elevator. So again, as we move it up and down, move it into the maximum position, and then just use the controls to make sure that we don't have too much movement on them. Again, once you're completely happy with that, press and hold the enter key, and then you are done. I'd recommend, as a final step, I would rebind your receiver to the radio just to store all of those new sub-trim positions, and that way if there is a problem and the radio and the receiver lose a connection, then what will happen is the receiver will put all the control surfaces to neutral. It's also a handy thing to do once you've had your first flight on a model and you maybe have moved these trims a little bit. Maybe it needs a little bit of aileron to counter the torque of the engine. Maybe with the center of gravity that you're using, you need a little bit of trim on your elevator. Then that's absolutely fine. But I would again just rebind the receiver. Again, while it's in the model, it's not a big deal. All you need to do is just plug in the bind plug into the bind connector on it, power up the model again without the prop installed, go through the bind process, and then those new midpoint positions will be stored. And then if there is a little bit of a hiccup with the radio for whatever reason, then the model will immediately start to crash. So hopefully that helps those of you that are interested in setting this up. That's how you set up a model for the ORX TX6i for a fixed wing. If you found that video useful or like the content, then please hit the like and subscribe button down below. If you want to go the extra step, you can become a Patreon of the Painless 360 channel and help provide support for what I do here. All the videos created here are put into playlists, so if you're interested in a particular topic, have a look at the playlist, and they all are organised in there to make them easier to use. If you're not sure if there's a video for your particular problem or topic you want to know more about, then add Painless 360 to the Google search term that you're interested in, and that should find the video, article or content about the particular thing that you're interested in having a look at.